Good morning on this waxing full moon Friday. Um, as I was considering a topic, a theme for this practice, I came across a quote by Hazrat Inayat Khan. He was he was a Sufi master, and he was one of the first, I guess he was the first to bring Islamic mysticism to the West. So I don't even know how I came across his name decades ago in the early 1980s. But I read his book entitled Healing, Mental Purification, the Mind World. So this book was instrumental in my own healing and progress on the mystic path. And I wanted to mention it because I looked it up to see, I couldn't remember the name of the book that when I found this quotation, I couldn't remember the name of the book that I read. And I thought, well, maybe I still have it. So I went in my library, and lo and behold, there was this book. And so I highly recommend his work. He was also a musician, and he does writings on mysticism and sound. And just every line he writes is potent with meaning and depth. So I may have been introduced when I lived in an apartment back in 1981. I lived alone, and I was just working on my own spiritual healing, my soul. I grew up in an alcoholic family dynamic, and there was a lot of drama, a lot of abuse, and being a sensitive, it took a real toll on my life. So I got started on the path through yoga, of course, and I received, when I lived in that apartment, I received a postcard about a spiritual retreat, and it was sent by the Sufis. I have no idea how they knew my name to send me anything because I had never heard of them. It was just a miracle as far as I'm concerned to receive that. So it was in Asheville, North Carolina, before it became a metaphysical center. So I went, and it was Hazrat Inayat's son that was the main draw for this spiritual retreat. It's just amazing that this all happened as I look back. But the quotation that triggered all of this off is, everything in life is speaking in spite of its apparent silence. I'm going to read that again. Everything in life is speaking in spite of its apparent silence. So what does that mean? There are things happening on an energetic level, on a spiritual level that doesn't happen in words, doesn't happen in necessarily action, but it is nonetheless messages that come from spirit, can come in all forms. But as I opened this book, I came to the place where he talks about concentration, and he says that no one succeeds at anything unless they can concentrate. So that brought me to a yoga inspiration I've done for years, Michelle's yoga inspiration. So they're quotes that I used to do weekly and send out to my students. But one of them was, meditation starts with relaxation, then progresses to concentration, contemplation, communication, and then communion with source. So that's basically the steps. And if you can see this, I have them listed and they actually appear like steps. But we can't meditate unless we can relax and concentrate. So that's one of the benefits of yoga. When we are deep in the practice in a session, we go into deeper concentration and relaxation. So that sets the scenario, that sets us up to reach for contemplation, communication with spirit, and then communion with spirit, where we're just like hanging out with the divine. So I thought we would just kind of focus into mystical things this morning. We're just going to go into a practice. It is the full moon, the last full moon of 2021. I believe it's in Taurus. Today is the waxing full, tomorrow is the full, and then we have the waning full. But the moon has been very bright, and I thought we would just do a full moon mystical class, because this full moon is where we release the past year and just let go of judgments of ourselves or others, criticism of ourselves or others, opinions that we have failed in some way, which there are no failures. There's just paths to learning. So it's more compassion for the self, and certainly concentration. By the way, I have a video on candle meditation, which is called Tratak, that's spelled Tratak, the Sanskrit word for one-pointed focus. So if you have difficulty concentrating at more and more deep levels, I would highly recommend you go to that video. I believe it's in the playlist under meditation. So it shows you how to meditate with using the candle. I give you the instructions, and then we actually practice a meditation together at the end of the video. So if you look that up and work with that, candles are amazing. Uh, that is one way, meditating with the candle, how I became aware of my higher self. And it was through vision uh, and then feeling the presence of that. So that's in my Mista stories. If you're interested, um, but let's get started with some yoga moves and relax, concentrate, and we'll enjoy this experience. Okay. By the way, Hazrat Inayat Khan has over 130 books, prolific writer. Um, and I didn't realize until today when I looked up some of those books that he was um, a master musician as well. So it makes sense. He was a master. And that spiritual retreat that I went to was also pretty miraculous. So we'll come in for centering using the Bu Mudra to ground. I sometimes emphasize grounding because in astrology, I have no earth in my chart, no earth planets, um, no earth aspects. So I'm triple fire, so I need to ground. And it just seems to me the way the world is today, as busy as everyone is and as chaotic as the world is, as the collective releases the contents of the subconscious and purifies and cleanses itself in preparation for what I call the ascension, if you recognize that or not. Um, anyway, uh, I think everybody needs grounding at this point in time. It's a very active spirituality right now. So you just take your two fingers, like the Boy Scout salute, index and long finger, and out to the side, place them on the mat and release any tension, oh, anything that needs to be released. You may not even know what it is, just open to the possibility of releasing what no longer serves you or what is holding you back, what harms you. And that can be on multiple levels: nutrition, your thinking mind, just all of that. Allow it to flow down from your shoulders, your arms, your fingers, down into the ground. And when I do this, I have a vision of the energy coming back up through the Muladhara chakra, up through the pranic tube, and back up to the heart, and again out the shoulders, arms, and fingertips. So we'll sit in silence just for a few minutes and breathe, let go. If your arms get tired from holding them out like this, just soften your elbows and let your arms come in, still with your fingertips on the mat. Now, as you become more still, you'll probably naturally become aware of your breathing. So just focus on your pattern and see how it's going for you. Feel the coolness of the airflow coming into your nostrils. Feel the movement of your lungs and abdomen, your diaphragm. Notice your thoughts. Now become aware of your body. Release your mudra. Just relax your hands on your knees and move around in micro movements to see how your body feels, where you may feel tightness or tension. The truth of that matter is we hold tension in the mind first, and then it reflects into the physical. So our intention for this session could be, I allow natural concentration to emerge and deepen. I allow natural concentration to emerge and deepen. I allow natural concentration to emerge and deepen. So we go deeper from relaxation into concentration, contemplation, communion, communication and communication and communion, sorry. So we'll attune to breath. Just bring your arms to your sides and breathe as you lift your palms up overhead. Count to 4 on the inhale. Double that. Count to 8 as you exhale and release your arms down. And repeat a few rounds. Breathe. Use your Ujjayi breath if you remember the ocean sounding breath. Two more rounds. Breathe. All right. And just lower your chin down to your chest. Let your head relax. Relaxing your neck. You may feel the sensation of stretch down your spinal column. See if you can pull your chin in a little closer. Lengthen in your cervical spine and feel your scalene muscles down into your shoulders, your trapezius muscles, upper back. Now lift in your spinal column, lift your chin, take in your breath as you reach up. Hold on to your knees, bring a little arch into your back, contract those muscles. Open your throat chakra, the energy flows up here. And bring your chin down once again. Breathe it up. And down. Now just take your head over to your left. Turn your nose so that it faces forward. Feel the stretch along the right shoulder, the neck, and scalene muscles. Now bring your chin forward. Breathe here. And take your right ear to your right shoulder. Turn your nose forward. Allow the stretch to happen. You can close your eyes for this. And now start to slowly come over to your left. Slowly pendulum swing over to your right. Breathe. Breathe in and center. Breathe out as you stretch. Or whatever feels natural to you. Now, right now, we're controlling the movement. So start to let go of that control and allow your head to swing naturally. You can lift up to the side, swing, release control, release holding. Now come over to your left and take your head all the way around. Go slow, being considerate of your neck, a vulnerable area. Come down and around, circle all the way around. Continue breathing some good breaths. And notice what you're feeling here. Do you feel restless, like, hurry up, let's get on with it? Or are you able to relax into it? Now we're going to circle the other direction. One more circle. And then bring your head up to center. All right, so now we'll lift our shoulders on the in-breath. Contract the muscles, press your head back, lift your shoulders. Continue breathing. Squeeze and release your shoulders. And again, lift, breathe. Squeeze. Release. And this time, breathe in, lift your shoulders, contract the muscles, hold your breath as long as you can. Squeeze more. And gently let your shoulders down. Breathe. Ah, all right. And now just unfold your legs, stretch them out, shake them out. Loosen up. Just some warm-ups. Circle around. And reverse. Sit tall on your sitting bones. Press the back of your legs into the ground. Press through your heels, flex your feet, and circle around in your ankles. Reverse. And flex and point. Flex and point. Flex and point. All right. Come up onto the balls of your feet. I like to use this for a thigh stretch so the toes are getting a good stretch, but you can stretch your thighs here. Just hold for a few breaths, allowing the feet to stretch, the quadricep muscles. And come up sitting on your heels, and then bring your hands forward and rock forward and back with your knees. All right, now just on the balls of your feet, press your heels towards the floor. You may not come down, and that's not necessary. We're just stretching the Achilles tendon and the ankle. The stretch goes up into the low leg, the calf muscle. Now, while you're here, circle around in your wrists, stretching your low back. Reverse your circles with your hands and squeeze fingers in and out. Bring your palms down. Step your feet apart, about mat width, and bring your arms inside your knees. Open your knees out, and we'll open the low back and the groin, the hip joints, side to side. Just open the knee, transfer the weight to the other foot, side to side. Breathe. Remember to breathe. Nice, relaxing breaths. We're preparing for Malasana, the garland or goddess pose, which is a feminine quality. And now just bring both feet down if they'll come. You can stay on the balls of your feet if that's right for your body. Bring palms together, press your elbows to open the knees gently. Lift in your spinal column and see if your thumbs will come towards your chest, your heart center. And you can waddle side to side, just loosening up, exploring the hip joints. Allow your Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, to open and spin. Red energy, earth energy coming up into your body, further grounding you, assisting you in staying in the present moment. All right, so we're going to loosen up for our salute to the moon. So just come over onto your right foot, stretch out your left leg, flex the foot, Okay, now bring the foot over onto the arch, come around to the side. So you're going to turn, lift the back heel, and with the bent knee in front, just come into your sun pose. Loosen up in your hips. So you can go back and forth here. Just straighten the knee, bend the knee, stretch the psoas, breathe, lift, stretch as you exhale, breathe, stretch, press through the heel, and come up and forward. Deepen each stretch, each repetition if you can. Get the energy moving. Now there's one more thing you can do to add to your stretch here. As you bring your hips back, you straighten your knee, you can flex that foot, and you get a phenomenal stretch on your calf. Some people get a little tightness in the calf. Breathe, stretch on the exhale, adding that flexion in the ankle. Breathe, breathe out, and come back in your sun pose. Hold for 2 breaths. Lift your chin, honoring the sun. And we'll come back around to the front. Bring your left heel down. And we'll repeat all that on the other side. So bring in your left leg, stretch out your right. So the foot is flexed. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So a nice stretch on the inner leg. And now we'll turn. So bring the arch of the foot towards the floor. Pivot, lift the back heel, and come into your sun pose. Just adjust your legs as you need to. And lower down into your stretch, your sun pose. And then we'll lift, pull back. Breathe, come forward. Breathe out as you pull back. You can work towards keeping your chest, your torso against your leg as you stretch. Or if your flexibility isn't quite there yet, you can come up onto your fingertips and just straighten your knee however you can. Breathe. Now we'll add the flexion. Lift your toes. Feel that stretch on your calf muscles. Breathe. Exhale, stretch. Just 1 or 2 more times. Breathe. Breathe out, stretch. Last time.
And then come into your sun pose. Lift your chin, reach through the back heel. Breathe. And bring the back hand around. Pivot once again. Come back into Malasana. Bring your hands into Bhu Mudra and just touch the earth with your fingertips. Grounding, releasing anything that you had possibly in your hips or the backs of your legs, your spine. Release through your fingertips. We also release through our feet and toes. So just bring your fingertips on the floor. We're going to lift our hips. Step it in. Now your head to knee or your ragdoll will be a little more flexible, a little deeper after your stretches with one leg at a time. So bend your knees, take your arms out to the side, push the floor away. Reach up and work with your shoulders a little bit. Take them out, take your arms out to the side and back. Circle around, crisscross in the front. Continue on. I need to turn this heat down. Now let's pick up the pace. Swing. That is in big a circle as you can. Faster. Breathe and slow it down. And bring your arms around behind you, interlace fingers. Step your feet slightly apart and just draw your arms away from your back. Pull, stretch. You can also take your head back if you wish, but contract in your hips to protect your low back because you'll go back into a standing back bend. Lift the chest, extend the spine, create space. And now come forward, hinge forward in your hips. Another stretch for the back of the legs, but also your shoulders. Release any burden, any heaviness. Let it melt away in the light, the divine light. Let it in. And soften your knees, push the floor away, lift your hands, come back up. And bring arms overhead. Interlace fingers, turn your palms up, creating a little altar for the nectar of the gods, the source, to drip in and flow in and flood you with light, divine love, attention. Notice what you feel. Open to the light. Reach. Push down in the soles of your feet. Reach up through your palms. More. Lift. Breathe and reach. Touch the ceiling. Now turn your palms in and let that divine
nectar just flow all around you as you open your arms and just loosen up in your shoulders. Okay, so separate your feet. Press your left hand against your hip bone and bring the elbow forward. So you want to have your elbow in line with your shoulder. If you can, press on your hip bone. Lift your right arm up, reach once again through your fingertips. Breathe and lift. Engage your hips, your legs, and press on that hand, elbow forward, come over for a side stretch. Reach through that right arm, look up, feel the stretch in your hip. Take your hips over to the side, but just listen, feel. So you're using your arm for support here, and the elbow is helping support you. And reach. Now for a little more use of our core muscles, bring your left arm out, up to your shoulder, to your ear, press down in your legs and lift up. And then bring your right hand onto the hip, elbow forward, reach up through the left arm, breathe, and press, and come over to the side. Lift up, lengthen in your body, and reach. Feel that delicious stretch in your hip, your waist, your spine. Open the chest, look up under your arm. Okay, now engage your core muscles, your hips. Bring your right arm out and up to your ear. Press down on your feet. Lengthen and lift up. Good. And then lower your arms down. Come into Anjali Mudra. Get your clothes back into place where you're comfortable again with your clothing. Things move around. And then bring palms into Anjali Mudra. Pause. Now release through your feet. Relax your elbows, just palms together in front of your. Just stretch up tall from the soles of your feet. Feel your posture. Okay. From here, bring your hands into Kali Mudra. So your index fingers are pointing. You interlace the rest of your fingers and thumbs are side by side. Okay. So breathe and lift arms up overhead into Tadasana with Kali Mudra. And take your hips over to the right and your body over to the left in Crescent Moon. Breathe, lift to center, flow right on through. We're not stopping there, we're just flowing through. Crescent Moon on the other side. Breathe, lift to center, release your hands and step out into 5-pointed star and into goddess pose. Bend the elbows, bend your knees. and then stretch out again. So turn your left foot to the side, right foot heel presses away, but keep your hips facing forward and press down in the front hip. So you're taking your right hip and pressing it away and pressing down for triangle pose. Reach out, shoulders and hips forward, knees are straight. Go as far as you can, bending in your hips, not your spine. You want a straight spinal column here. And then just switch your arms, look up. And then bring that arm forward. Let the back heel out a little bit so that you can bring your hips facing front and come down into head to knee stretch. Now you know why we did those warm-ups. Now, sun pose. Look up at the sun. Now bring the outer hand inside the arch, pivot like we did earlier. Bring the leg into Malasana. This is the bottom of the circle. Or salute to the moon. And then step out and stretch the left leg out. Pivot, sun pose. Bring the back foot down. Come into your head to knee here. Straighten the knee and point your hip bones forward. You'll feel a nice stretch on the back calf. Head to knee. Now bring your right hand inside the leg. We're going to pivot up into triangle pose. Lift your left arm. Now here again, lengthen in your spinal column. Point the hips forward. Reach. It's not about getting your hand to the floor. It's about stretching in the hips and the leg. Open the chest, look up into your palm. Lift up. Back to five-pointed star. Back to goddess pose. And lean over to one side, push off, come into Tadasana with Kali Mudra. Lift, breathe. Take your hips to your left this time, body to the right. Now you know why we did those stretches to the side. Breathe it up and stretch to the other side, crescent moon. Pull in, reach, and palms back to Anjali Mudra. Okay, so we've walked through it. Now we're going to flow through it. So come back to center. Get your clothes and everything ready, comfortable. All right, now come into Tadasana. Breathe, palms to Anjali Mudra. Bring hands into Kali Mudra. Breathe it up. And take your left hip out, torso right. Inhale, lift to center, reach up. Other side, crescent moon. back to center, open out into, we'll just come into goddess pose and extend out into 5-pointed star. Turn your left toes forward, back heel away, but keep the hips and shoulders pointing forward. Breathe and press the hip to your right and reach out for triangle. So when you bring your arms down, you're not lowering down. You go as far as you can, and then your body stays right there where it's safe. Look up and face the front leg. Allow the back heel to slide. Bend your front knee into sun pose. Look up. Bring your left hand around. Pivot into your stretch. Bring the leg into Malasana. And step it out for the other side. So your left leg is out. Pivot, bring the toes down. Come into sun pose. Lift your chin. Bring the back foot down. Head to knee pose. Stretch. Hip bones are pointing forward here. Straighten the knee. Bend in. Now engage your legs if they're not already. Press your feet into the ground. Bring your right hand in front of the leg and open into triangle. But lengthen out, straight spine. Look up into your palm. Reach up and out. Bring your feet around. 5-pointed star. Goddess pose. Pull over. Push off. Palms into Kali Mudra. Reach it up. Now take your hips to the right. Torso left. Breathe it in. Other side. Come back to center. Palms together, Anjali Mudra. And pause, close your eyes. And notice how you feel. Notice where your thoughts have been. Breathe. All right. Balancing half moon. Okay. So we'll step out into warrior 2. Okay, so here's our warrior 2. Wide set feet. Open the shoulders. Press down in the back hip. Now, so that's warrior 2. We're going to bring our feet in for a short stance of warrior 2. So from here, we'll reach down. So this is your left foot. Reach out to the left about a foot, but at a diagonal off of your pinky toe. Rotate the body forward, shoulders and hips. Transfer the weight to the front foot and hand. Lift the back leg. Straighten the knee. And lift the leg as high as it'll go. And you want to be
Align so that you would fit between two panes of glass. And look up. Lift. Straighten the supporting knee. Sometimes that will cause a little imbalance. But open. Now just lift up and back. Open out for warrior two on the other side. Wide stance. Check your alignment. Whoops. Into your warrior two, deepen the pose. Stretch it out. Breathe. Open the shoulders, the chest. Now bring the warrior two to a short stance. Bend the knee. Reach down diagonally off the pinky toe, off the right foot. Realign. Open the shoulders to the front. Hips. Transfer the weight onto the front foot and your hand. Lift the back leg. Reach it up. Open the shoulders, open the hip as much as you can. Reach up. Straighten the supporting leg. Lift the back leg up. Keep opening the hips and shoulders. Forward. And look up. And then lift up out of it. Hopefully with control, but sometimes the best laid plans, right? All right, bring palms in. All right. Now, feet forward, hands in Kali Mudra. Breathe up. We're going to go in all four directions, making a moon. Engage your hips and legs. Reach up. And take your hips out to the right, shoulders left. Flow, breathe it up and over. Breathe out. Breathe up to center. Lift. Extreme stretch. Extreme lift. Create space to the back. As far as you're able to go. Keep lengthening. Press down on your feet, come to center, breathe, and hinge forward. It's a little easier to go forward than it is back. Oftentimes, head to knee pose. All right. Step your feet to one side, bend your knees, come down sitting. Have your right knee in front. Bring your left leg around for a twist. Make sure both sitting bones reach the floor.
So you're bringing the knee across towards the opposite shoulder. Just enjoy the stretch in the hip for a few breaths here. You can close your eyes and reach tall, lifting up and out of the hips. Concentrating, contemplating. Now, press down on your hips. Hold your left leg with the right arm. Scoop your left arm up. Reach, breathe. And come around to the back. Open to the side wall. Look over your shoulder in your twist. And come back to center. Just briefly come into a four square. So let the lower leg out. Let the upper leg down. Ideal position is where they're parallel. So let's see where you're at with that. Just lift up out of your hips. Flex the top foot. Actually, you can flex both of them. That helps with the knee alignment. Breathe and reach up through your crown. And exhale, hinge forward in your hips. Go to the first point of resistance or pain. Pause there. You can even back out of it a little bit if you want. Breathe and lengthen in your spine. And come forward. Just work with your body and your breath. Breathe new life into your hips. New relaxation into your hips. Breathe. Prana into your hips. And press down on your legs, lift up. And we're going to switch our legs for the twist on the other side. So you'll have your left knee bent and bring your right leg around. Press sitting bones into the ground. Lift in your spine. Draw your knee in towards the opposite shoulder. So what do you hear in the silence? Everything in life is speaking in spite of its apparent silence. The universe is speaking in various ways. Where we think it's silent, listen. Okay, holding on with your left arm, scoop the right arm up. Lift up in your spinal column, your crown, pull around into your twist. Keep digging your sitting bones into the ground. Open into your twist. Now press down in your sitting bones. Breathe your right arm back up again. Come around to the front. Let your left leg out for 4 square. A stretch for the hips. I think it's always good after your balancing half moon that uses the hips quite a bit. So it's good to do a 4 square. Pigeon will work, or just the simple 4. So lengthen, relax in the hips. Breathe and hinge forward wherever your body will allow in this moment. Listen to your body. Take your time. If it feels tight, you can massage it a little bit. Just warming it up more. Into your 4 square. And press down on your legs, lift up. Unfold your legs into easy pose. And you might want a Kleenex handy for pranayama, Nadi Shodhana. Sitting tall. Just take your right hand, bring in your index finger and your long finger, cup your hands, just round it in. And then bring your right thumb up to your right nostril. Inhale through the left nostril to a count of 4. And then switch. Use your ring finger and pinky finger to close the left nostril. Breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right. Count of 4. Thumb closes off the right. Exhale the left to a count of 8. Breathe in left to a count of 4. Deep breath. Switch. Breathe out, count of 8. through the right. Breathe in through the right. Switch out through the left. And continue on for a few rounds. And one last round. Now just sit for a moment and breathe through both nostrils. Notice your level of concentration. Now come down onto your back. Prepare if you need a blanket, a cushion, your socks, whatever you need, so that you can be as comfortable as possible. Then come down onto your back. Feet are 12 to 18 inches apart. Relaxing. Make sure your hips are rolled under. Roll your shoulders under. Arms relaxed. Shoulders open.
Continue to relax and let go a little bit more now. Check to see if you're holding anywhere. If so, invite the area to relax and let go more and more. Allow deeper tensions that you didn't even know you had to release. It's time to come back now, aware of your physical body, the floor, the ground underneath you, the breath flowing through your body.
Any sounds you notice in the room or in the distance. And notice how you feel after your yoga moves and pranayama. Just start to stretch and yawn and wake yourself up like you just got or getting up out of bed in the morning. Just reach, happy to meet the day or evening. Enjoying the messages from spirit in apparent silence. How is that for you? But slide your feet together, lift your knees up to your chest. Stretching. And then roll to one side and press up into sitting. Bring your hands into Shanana mudra, just thumb and index finger together. The other fingers just stretch out. Rest the back of your hands on your knees, or you can rest your palms down, whichever seems most appropriate. Sealing in the benefits and the wisdom of your practice today with this important full moon, releasing and then setting our intentions for the upcoming year. So bring palms into Anjali Mudra. Know that we are all one in spirit. We're all connected. So I can say it, I love you all. Every one of you. I send you blessings, peace, silence, and namaste, everybody. So with regard to Hazrat Inayat Khan, yes, he was Islamic, but all paths lead to the same source. Mysticism is the desire to merge with the source, with the all that is, and to realize our place within that. Self-realization, excuse me. So go forth and meditate. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for being here. Yes, namaste. Bye-bye.